AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. I am Aubrey Edwards here with my special co-host and wonderful friend, Alex Abrahentes. How are you, Alex?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's always great to be here with you.
Of course. It's always great whenever Tony Schiavone's like, hey, I've got all this shit I'm doing because I'm super busy and I'm like a high-level executive now. So
he needs a clone. He needs a clone. We need to make that happen.
He does too much backstage and everybody loves him. And it's just like, I can't be mad at the guy. I can't be mad, especially when it means I get to hang out with you. So it's perfect.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I'm super excited to be talking to our guest because, listen, I got to tell you, Aubrey, I'm going to put my personal feelings aside based upon what's happened in the past for this interview because, you know, we're on opposite sides of the fence. You know, she's done some deeds to some of my friends. We'll put that to the side. This is neutral ground. I'm going to keep it profesh.
All right. Yeah, we've got Julia Hart here today. Miss Spooky.
Hey, guys.
Which, I don't know. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Good. Before we get into the meat of the interview, I recently learned you know how to play the ukulele.
I do.
Yeah, me too. What is this about?
Yeah, okay. Like, please tell us everything. Like, when did you pick it up? How long have you been playing? Like, what can you play? Like,
so my dad, you know, I think in a perfect world would like me to play the electric guitar. And he bought me an electric, he bought me an amp. He bought me a Hello Kitty guitar when I was like 6.
So like last year.
I couldn't play much. I was not succeeding very well. It's really hard to play the electric guitar. My dad can go crazy on it, but me, oh my gosh, it's hard. So I was like, I do love music and instruments. So the ukulele, 4 strings, super easy. You can learn 3 chords and make any song. So I think when I was probably like in 5th grade, I asked my parents for a ukulele and they're like, if you do this amount of chores, we'll get you a ukulele. So then I got a little purple ukulele when I was younger and I just like, yeah. But now
you gotta pack that thing with you and bring it backstage. I think that'd be a nice little like, oh dude, I imagine those travel pretty well.
Yeah, they're so easy. They're just so little and cute and just so easy to play. Yeah,
I have an idea.
I love that. How
about
ahead,
during one of your entrances, you play the House of Black theme song on your ukulele as you walk to the ring? I mean, come on.
Like me,
that seems like pay-per-view entrance to me.
Me sitting crisscross, like just, or like I've been trying to play Twist a Nerve on it and like making it sound as creepy and spooky as possible. So I think I could make it work. I think it would be a really cool visual.
I think you can make it work, no doubt.
Definitely.
So we got so much to talk about because you're such a unique individual and you have done a complete 180 since you first came into AEW. Yeah. And we saw you as this effervescent, just fun-loving girl who was just happy to be there. You were the cheerleader. Yeah. And now you're completely the opposite. You've gone to the dark side, pun intended. So tell us about that evolution. What is it like for you to be in this new role? How does it feel?
Oh my gosh. Words can't explain how much I'm obsessed with my new character and everything. Like being a cheerleader, I was a competitive cheerleader for 6 years. And you guys, I was so over it. I was so over cheerleading and like being on the sideline and cheering for someone else. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of what I'm doing. I'm like not even creative anymore with it. I did have a lot of ideas of where we could have gone with that, but I just needed something different and new and a different side of me that I can pull from. And it's crazy how being with the House of Black, how creative everyone is and just being around that environment of those people is just, and I'm constantly learning from all of them. It's just such a new environment that I needed as like a young little rookie. Like I'm just constantly learning and excited to do things with them. So it's really great. If you would have told me I was joining House of Black a year ago, I'd be like, you're crazy. What? Like, I'm going to do something like that? Like, it's just a dream. I love it. I'm obsessed with everything that we do. So
I think it's been really good for your career. I mean, you kind of touched on this, like growing as a character and a wrestler a little bit and like getting to share the ring with you. I've told you multiple times, like I feel like some of the matches you've had recently are definitely your best. And I think part of that is just being paired with people who have so much experience. Not to be a slight on Griff or, Pillman in any sort of way, but like the amount of experience that
too, they're they're very young too. So I'm with these guys who've been like, Malachi's been in business for like 22 years. Sorry, that's my dog.
Is that a dog toy?
Oh, you got to bring him on camera. If we hear him, we have to see him. That's the rule on Unrestricted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and of course, she brought it to me. Play with me.
Aww.
What was I saying? No, I lost my train of thought.
Working with like Malachi and Buddy and Brody.
With Pillman and Griff, we were all so young and so all new to the business and not really knowing what to do or how to do it. So now that I'm with the guys that know how to do things and can tell me what way is the right way, which way is the wrong way, it's like, and they're like right by my side the whole time, watching my every move and making sure I'm doing my best. And I feel like I'm finally doing my best. So I'd always come back and be like, oh my gosh, like I can't even watch myself. But now I'm like, I want to watch myself because I think I'm cool now. So it's like, oh, I look cool there. Oh, I look scary. I'm like, heck yeah. So,
well, can we talk about one area or one thing that you did which was really cool? It was these vignettes with Miro, and obviously Miro, another man who's got tons of experience, and you got yourself in a little bit of trouble with Miro's wife, CJ. So tell us all about that. What was it like doing these vignettes, the ramifications of that, and how you felt that went?
My favorite part of wrestling is how creative everyone can be. So seeing Miro get on his creative side of how he visualized this vignette was really cool, and being a part of it and how he wanted to do it. And I didn't even think about his wife when I was doing it. I didn't even realize I was just being Julia Blackheart in the moment, like feeling out. And then I saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh shit. Sorry. Can I swear here? Can I swear?
You can swear. You can
okay.
swear.
I was like, oh shit. Like, is this gonna be a thing? If it is, I'm ready. Like, let's go. I have no problem. Like I represent the house and we're always ready for violence. So if that's what she wanted, but I think everything is smoothed over now. But I don't know. I haven't heard much from it anymore. But I thought that was
really like just a casual mention of like, well, yeah, we're ready for violence.
It's just another day. Just another day in the
like
house.
Morning coffee. Just like, we might do violence today. It's fine.
A little bit of violence.
I know she said she wanted to body slam me, and I was like, okay, well, be ready for a super kick or a moonsault. I don't know, whatever I do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So a couple of things that are really like unique to House of Black is like the entrance. They have the coolest friggin' entrance that we do, like with the lights and everything just turns pitch black, and then you guys suddenly like appear somewhere else. And what was it like the first time putting together an entrance like that when you officially joined the group?
Well, I'd always seen them do it, and I always thought it was so cool. But I remember they asked me. It's always like, okay, who wants to stand where? Who wants to do what? They just kind of, I don't know, they just like threw me in, and I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing. They're like, follow us. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'll do whatever. Whatever you guys need me to do, I'm there for. So, I don't know, they just threw me in, and the lights cut out, and next thing you know, I can't see, and I'm trying to appear in the next spot without being able to see. So, yeah, I will say the entrances are harder than people think, and like not knowing where you're really going. And like, I think one time me and Brody actually collided. It was a week ago. I was going this way, he was going that way, and you were like, move. I was like, oh, this is going on. Oh my gosh, it's dark and I can't see. But yeah, I think it's so cool. I think an entrance is one of the most important parts of people's whole thing. So having a cool entrance is definitely, and now I feel like I finally have a cool entrance. So I love watching my entrance.
It's not just about the entrance, your whole look, right? You've completely changed the look. You've got the eye makeup. Was it challenging to work around the eye patch that you wore for so long?
Okay, yeah, the eye patch was an eyesore, literally an eyesore. My eye hurt. This eye would hurt because I had to focus more. And like hitting the ropes even, I'd be like, or like I think the first match I wrestled with was with Jade. That was my first match, and with the eye patch. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Jade, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Can't see. I think I went to go throw something or duck something, and I literally said, I can't see. I was like,
no.
she should. In that moment, I'm just like a little cheerleader with one eye. I was like, Jade should kill me. Like, she's so dominant, she should just kill me at this point. But I wondered with my new character, me and Jade in the ring would be like now, because she had me at a not very good stage of my strongest. So I wonder what it'd be like now at my strongest with Jade.
I agree. I think that would be pretty dope. Just like, I know you've grown as a wrestler. You have so much more confidence in your character. She as well, right? Like she's had so many more matches under her belt. I think bringing back two people that wrestled previously, once they've kind of found themselves, I guess is the way to say that. Like, absolutely awesome. So I would be like, hey, Paul, I need to ref that, please. Let me in on that one. So eye makeup entrance. How did you find out you were going to be a part of House of Black? Because I know that this kind of like happened over the course of like a number of months. Like you had the eye patch, the makeup, it's kind of started to grow a little bit when you were still with Varsity Blonds. Like, how did this whole conversation start?
Well, oh my gosh, I was sitting on those stairs for months. Yes. You guys don't remember because I actually didn't know. I didn't ever know. I was like, is it actually ever going to happen? I was like, I'm just going to keep doing me. And hopefully, like, we have to do something with this. Like, I'm not going to let this just, like, go to waste. Like, this was a big moment. So, you know, when it happened, when Malachi misted me, when it happened, I was really like, I think I want to do something different. And him missing me could create a whole story of me joining the House of Black. So I think I told Jerry Lynn. I was like, Jerry, what would you think if I joined House of Black or joined Malachi? And he was like, I think that'd be cool. And I was like, yeah. But at the time, I wasn't very close with Malachi. So it was, you know, he's also an intimidating presence as it is. He's very intimidating in a good way, not like in a bad way. So I was just like,
intimidating but approachable.
Yes. And then when you do talk to him, you're like, oh, like, I'm fine. I'm just little. So when I was just like, I wanted to tell him, but I didn't know how. Like, he would think like, oh, like this little girl wants to join this big group or this group we're about to have. So I didn't really know how to approach it. So I told Jerry, and I guess Jerry told him. And then he came up to me, he's like, you want to join House of Black? Like, do you like the cheerleading? I thought you liked the cheerleading stuff. And I was like, no, I need something different. I need something new. I need something creative. I love dark shit. I love it all. I'm here for it. Like, I want to grow. And he was just like, oh, okay. Like, maybe, you know, draw out how you would see the character that you would do and do a promo for me. And I love promos. I would love to talk more. But so I did a promo and I showed him. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, you have something. And I was like, yes. And then it was just like, that was pretty much it. And I just kept the eye patch. And I just sat for weeks and waited. And I was like, when is this ever going to happen? Like, I honestly didn't know. I was just coming to work and doing my job of just sitting on the steps. And I was just like, hopefully one day I can join. And like, everyone asked me, like, what was I thinking? Like, I was thinking, I want something more. That's all I was thinking on those steps. So, and then it turned into what it is now. So it's crazy. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about that moment where it was the big reveal. Mm-hmm. Clearly I was there. I got a bird's eye view. Was not happy with what happened, but you know what? Again, we'll put that to the side. When you misted Pac's face on the pay-per-view, how did that feel? And did you know that was the changing point and everything would change for you from that moment on?
Yeah, I didn't know it was really happening till it happened. So I just, I was always ready. I always had my black blazer and I always had my look ready just in case. I never know when it's going to happen. So when I finally got told that this is what was going to happen. I was like, oh my gosh, it's finally happening. At Double or Nothing, on Pac was one of the greatest wrestlers ever. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this, I was so excited. And then my parents actually flew out to Las Vegas from Minnesota. I bought them a flight, and then it was so cool.
It wasn't cool for my jacket. I will say, I have to tell you something you don't know. What? I debuted a new jacket that night, which was all white. And I was so excited because I had it really detailed airbrush and it was great. So after you missed the Pac, I go to help him out. And then I get to the back and my jacket in the back is just covered with black mist. And I'm like, where did this come? And I'm like, Julia.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know.
A little fun fact.
Were you able to get that out of your jacket, or did you have to retire it, Alex?
No, that jacket is retired, but I guess it's like a moment in history. I will always think of you when I see that jacket, Julia. It's your fault.
Yeah. I actually, when Malachi misted me on my Varsity Blonds jacket, I still have black all over it. And I was wearing Converse that night, and there's black all over them. And on the gear too, literally everything, there's just black mist all over. And I was like, I'm not going to wash this out. Like, this could be something really cool in the long run to have like Malachi's mist all over the Varsity Blonde jacket. I don't know, but yeah, so I have some stuff ruined too.
Fair enough. Little piece of history.
Yeah,
we're all sharing in the fact that we've had gear ruined by somebody either misting or bleeding or whatever the hell. So it's always a fun one. We're talking to Julia Hart on AEW Unrestricted. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about her background in cheerleading and how she got into wrestling.
And we're back. It's Alex Aubrey here at Unrestricted with Julia Hart, the very evil, very conniving member of the House of Black, but she's okay today. We're being friendly today. So it's great to have you here, Julia. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So we've got a lot to talk about. But let's talk about your upbringing. And you grew up in Minnesota. Did you have a lot of theatrical training growing up? And obviously we talked about the fact that you were a cheerleader. Did you always know that you wanted to be a part of some sort of entertainment?
Yes, I always knew I wanted to be in front of people, because I remember being in church, and I would imagine myself like doing cartwheels across I was just always wanted to be in front of people. So with cheerleading, it really opened up the doors of being in front of people. I loved being in front of people, especially because in school I was just kind of like the girl that had my hoodie up and like didn't like talking to people as much. So, and then when I would have my cheer uniform and makeup, people would be like, who is that? Like, what happened to Julia? So I loved like just being something else and making people smile. So I think when I was 12 and I found professional wrestling. And I was like, you get to be in front of people. You get to be athletic. You get to travel. You get to do all these things. Like, it sounded like everything I ever wanted. So I always knew I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And then cheerleading really made me comfortable with being in front of people and stuff. So cheerleading definitely helped a lot.
Were your parents always supportive of the fact you wanted to be a wrestler?
Yes, they were always very supportive. They believed in me. If it wasn't for them, my parents are great, but yeah, if it wasn't for them, I know I would go.
So even though you kind of like said no to the electric guitar, they still had your back.
They're like, oh, you can still be a rock star, just in a different way. Yeah.
I mean, Jericho proves he can be a rock star and a wrestler. Yep. So there's still hope for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I definitely think you got to play that ukulele once to the ring, or use it as a foreign object. Because I mean, why not?
Yeah, and they're only like $30, so it's like,
you
can easily. Yeah,
that's right.
We break more expensive shit all the time.
Yeah,
this is true. So let's talk about how you got involved in the Nightmare Factory. How did you meet QT? How did you find out about it? And what was your experience like there?
It was during COVID, and in Minnesota, literally everything was shut down. And I had started the indies literally right when COVID hit. So I think I did like 3 or 4 indie shows. And then COVID hit. I remember my gear had just came right when COVID hit, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, every time I wanted to get into wrestling, like, something would always happen. Either an injury from cheer or school or then COVID. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I just need to be consistent. I need someone to kick my ass. And I just want to be a professional wrestler. Like, how can I get there? And I saw, like, the Nightmare Factory pop up. I looked up wrestling schools that are open, and the Nightmare Factory popped up. And I was like, I'll just apply, just for fun. Like, I'll just apply, send in a resume, whatever. And, like, they're like, okay, like, you'll hear from us from 2 weeks. And it was 2 weeks, and I didn't hear anything. And I was just like, all right, like, it didn't work out, whatever. And then it was after, I think, my 19th birthday. And I got an email from Carolyn, QT's wife, and saying, hey, like, are you still interested? And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I ran out to my parents, and I'm like, they just asked me if I wanted to come. And they were like, no way, like, holy crap. And I remember I was saving up for a new car. I had been saving up for like a year. And I was like, this is all the money I have. I'm going to take all of it and spend it on the school and move down to Georgia. I'll move into an Airbnb. And I just had just the right amount of money, like literally to the dollar of the Airbnb expensive and the school expensive to pay for it. So it was just like, it was meant to be. And then I was at the Nightmare Factory for 3 months. There consistently, worked my butt off. And then the week after that, they were like, we want you to come to TV. And I was like,
wow.
And then I had been TV ever since. So it was like, it was just so, it moved so fast and so crazy. And I was like, wow. And I didn't know anybody in Georgia. I didn't know a single soul. I didn't have a job. I was just like, I'm moving to Georgia. And then there was a Jamba Juice across the street from my Airbnb, which I worked at in Minnesota for 3 years. And I walked in there and I go, hey, I used to be a manager in Minnesota. Do you guys need anyone? And they're like, yes, we do.
Wow, look
We're
at that.
close staffed. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I know how to do everything. Like, and they were like, oh my gosh, okay. So then I just worked at Jump all day, and then I would go to Nightmare Factory at night. It's just like,
it's meant to be.
It was just meant everything perfectly. So it was just.
Do you ever have to pinch yourself to think of how everything just lined up so like perfectly for you?
Right place, right time for everything. And I'm just like blessing every day. Like, so crazy.
It's so crazy when you think about like your start in wrestling moving so quickly, and then the hurry up and wait of sitting on the stairs on TV every week. Like, now I'm kind of like understanding like why that was. You're like, no, this is supposed to go fast. Like, what the hell's going on, guys? And it's like, no, this is the hurry up and wait part of wrestling. Like, you still at least get to be on TV every week, which is dope. So I know one of the things that you started showing up at TV, you had this whole like cheerleader persona, and I know that Cody made you talk to Tony Khan like your first day there. Do you remember that moment, that conversation?
I do. I remember it exactly because my first match was with Kylan King, and it was really fun. For my first one, and I felt pretty good about it. And then I came back and Cody was like, "Good job, kid. Like, I want you to talk to Tony." And I was like, what? Like, I'm already so like flustered of just having a match, and I felt really good about it. So then he was like, just go up to him and say thank you. And I was like, hi Tony, thank you so much for the opportunity. I was just like, and he was like, you know, Tony's just the nicest guy. And he's like, yeah, thank you so much for coming. And I'm like, and then Dustin was standing right there. And I like walked maybe 2 steps, and Dustin grabs me by the shoulders. And I'd never met Dustin. Grabs me by the shoulders and goes, "You need to calm down, kid." I was just like,
that's okay. The Dustin thing.
He's like, "You need to calm down." And I was like, okay. I don't know what just happened. Like, that was all just so crazy. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I just remember Dustin saying, like, calm down. Oh my gosh. I was like, you just made me talk to Tony. It's my first day here. I was like, what's going on?
So, you were certainly thrown into the fire right away.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, we know on Instagram that your boyfriend, Lee Johnson, obviously part of AEW. Did you meet Lee here in AEW? And do you find it kind of difficult separating work life and kind of home life? Or how is that for you?
It's honestly great. We're also like, but actually, I should correct you. We are engaged. He is my
Whoa!
fiance.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I know now it sounds weird saying boyfriend. I'm like, what? He's my fiance. Nobody really knows that, but we also don't care. But we also didn't make like a huge post about it. But anyway, we did meet at the Nightmare Factory. We were just friends at first, and then one day he asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to like get pizza and like watch wrestling? And I was like, sure. Like I didn't really have any friends in Georgia, so I was like, sure, I'm not doing anything. And then next thing you know, we're literally hanging out till 7 a.m. just talking and just clicking, having the best time ever. And then I think the next day was the showcase for the Nightmare Factory. And then I actually left for a week. So it was like we just clicked, and then I had to go back to Minnesota. And then he's the one that told me I was actually supposed to come to TV. Because he's like, hey, they're talking about you at the school saying you're supposed to be at TV. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll move down to Georgia. And he's like, okay. And then we hung out literally every single day and probably weren't apart for like months. But work life and real life we have a really good like separation of it. And yeah, he's the best. I don't know. I just couldn't ask for anyone better. He's like my dream man. He just has he has everything I could ask for in a guy. So yeah, he's great.
I like
I can't wait for him to come back.
I know. I miss the guy. He's so good and has just like a huge like bright future in front of him. And it's like, man, I miss this guy. We need to see him at TV again. I want to point out like just how chill Julia is, because she's like, oh yeah, we're engaged. Like you've been engaged for months and you kind of just didn't make a big deal about it. Like I found out I'm sitting like waiting for makeup and you're in the makeup chair and I'm like, wait a minute, is there like a ring on your finger? You're like, oh yeah, like we got engaged. Like it's just like a casual like, oh whatever.
By the way.
And by the way, just me and Lee, like we've had weddings of coworkers on TV and just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah,
which I absolutely love.
Yeah, and I think for us and for like me personally, like everything's on the internet, and this is something that hasn't gone on the internet, which I'm surprised. But we also haven't told many people, so it's kind of cool. But I also don't care if people know. We just like it's just for us. Like we're just so happy together, and that's all that matters. So we don't need anyone else's opinion or anything. So it's just like. Sorry, my dog will not stop throwing this little toy in my lap.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, insane.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's a mini poodle.
Oh, there we go.
She looks pretty big for being mini.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's about like 15 pounds.
Oh, it's not too bad.
She's adorable.
Her name is Snacks because she's a little snack. So.
Oh, that's great.
That's absolutely wonderful. We're talking to Julia Hart and Snacks here on AEW Unrestricted. Coming up, we've got lots and lots of fan questions. This is AEW Unrestricted. Aubrey and Alex talking to Julia, and during the break, we're talking about Snacks, our wonderful dog that's trying to, sneak into the camera frame. We also found out you have a snake.
Yeah, yes. Snacks and snakes. What's this about, Julia?
Yes, my little snake Jude, and I named him after the Beatles song "Hey Jude," so that when I'd walk in my room, I could start singing "Hey Jude." Oh, I don't know.
Have you told Jake this? Have you gotten some advice from him?
Actually, my first day at AEW, he was one of the first people I saw, and that's the first thing I said. I said, "Hey Jake, big fan of yours. I actually have a pet snake." And he took me for maybe 30 minutes and told me stories about his snakes and how he hated snakes. And I was like, oh, actually. So, but, yeah, I can actually, I'll grab them. Hold on.
Yeah, let's see the snake.
Oh, yes, please.
I love that this isn't the first time we've had reptiles on AEW Unrestricted.
Yeah, it's like a zoo at times here on Unrestricted.
It is.
Which we love.
We love, and it's reason enough to watch the video versions that release every Monday on the podcast, because you get to see people's adorable pets, people's adorable kids, and Alex's adorable face. So,
oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Aubrey.
Look at this snake.
Whoa! That is a cool looking snake.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a ball
Jude.
python.
What?
And he's 3 years old.
Is he full grown?
How big will he get?
No, he's probably Snacks, get down when it's the dog's trying to. The dog's like, what are these? So he's about almost 2 feet long. He probably has like another foot to grow. But yeah, he's like me. He just likes to lay around and not do much. So,
How big will he eventually get?
Maybe like 3 feet, and he could probably get like this big around.
Whoa.
He's about that size.
Wow. He's
pretty
beautiful though.
How long do snakes live?
He could live to like 30 years if I kept him for that long, but I think after maybe 12, I don't know what it is, but I don't know if I can keep him forever, or I don't know, but it's a commitment. I'll have him forever. So, yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Aw.
Were you going to sing the song, Aubrey?
No, I don't sing.
Well, that's super cool.
I just yell numbers at people. I don't sing.
I don't sing either. I wanted to get another snake and either name it Sexy Sadie or like the Beatles song or Prudence, because I love the Beatles. So yeah,
very cool.
Awesome.
Now he's
Jude's like, no, I'm hanging out the rest of this podcast. So
you should bring Jude out during one of your entrances. You could be like the House of Black's official snake.
Yeah, oh my god, my dog's like, they start attacking each other. No, I actually did say something about that, but they said with animal rights.
Fair enough.
It's a little bit tricky.
But yeah, and I was like, oh, but this is like mine.
Yeah, it's like
right.
No, I'm the guardian. Like, I'll sign whatever forms necessary.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, but I also don't know how traveling with it would be.
That's a great Jake the Snake question.
Well, I did ask him a question. He just said, throw it in a bag and throw it in there. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Someone opens up the carry-on thing above the airplane, and they're like, "Why is this bag moving?" Like,
I was like, no wonder why your snakes are always so mad. Like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Like with pythons, like if you just act like a tree, it'll think it's just on a tree. Like he's not gonna try and hurt me or anything. He's never bit me either. I've never been bitten, but he has peed on me, and that is something.
Well.
They're so relaxed.
What's the lesser of the evils there?
Yeah,
that's some venom that I don't want to smell ever again. I'm gonna put them back really quick.
All right, put them
there
back.
You go.
We'll get to fan questions.
Yeah, we got quite a few fan questions for you.
A few.
All right.
Good night, Jude. All right, first question from Beast Wrestler 21. Which House of Black member has been the most influential in the change of aggression and moves that you use when wrestling?
Oh gosh, maybe all of them, but I think the one I talked to the most is definitely Brody. Me and Brody are pretty close. He's like, I always call him my wrestling dad because he just always makes sure I'm okay and everything, and just making sure I'm in line. And I'd say Malachi, he's more of a coach. I would call him like my coach. And just, this is how you do this, and I'm like, okay. And then Buddy's like a brother, but like he'll make sure everything's okay, but it's just like, hey kid, like, and I'm just like, just a and then, yeah, so that's how I just remember. Buddy's my brother, Brody's my dad, Malachi's my coach. That's what I would.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Coveting Demons, very appropriately named.
Nice.
They want to know, how do you feel about when people cosplay as your House of Black character? Have you seen this?
Yeah, there's one girl who cosplays me a lot, actually, and she went to a convention as me, and I thought that was so cool. I was like, what? Like, that, me? That's so cool. Yeah, I think it's dope. I love it.
That's awesome.
All right, keep it up, cosplayers.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those, like, I don't know. I would think like it's an easy cosplay, a lot like the kids who dress up as like Darby or Orange Cassidy. It's like, yeah, we'll just put some like creepy makeup on and wear a Stevie Nicks hat, and then you're Julia Hart. Congrats. Like,
and a black blazer. Can't forget
black blazer. That's That's the key thing. All right.
Yeah, the blazer.
We got a question from Moore's Dios. Did Malachi and Brody force you to listen to a bunch of black metal to prepare for this role? And if so, how long until you start trying to do metal screams in the car when driving?
Oh my gosh, they didn't. But I remember the first day of me joining, and we did a meet and greet. I remember riding in the car, and we were listening to some heavy stuff, and I was just like, oh shit, like I don't really know what they're saying, but okay. And then I think a fan asked like the same question, like, oh, what do I listen to? And I was just like, I listen to like 80s hair metal bands. My dad would make me listen to like Poison. Does that count? But
Poison's great.
Yeah.
Poison, Kiss,
Def Leppard,
Van Halen.
Wow.
I was
all the classics, all the monsters of ballads artists.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Guitar Hero growing up. So
great
Guitar
game.
Hero,
Good game.
It was my jam. So yeah.
So we have a really good question from Francisco Ortiz,
I'm
which
curious about
is
this
not our Ortiz. Want to make sure to preface that.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know, what does the Black Mist taste like?
Oh gosh. I didn't really taste like anything.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember it tasting like anything.
Does it stain your teeth
Fair
at
enough.
all?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw after I did it and I smiled, I thought my teeth were gonna be much more black, and then I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I looked like. Like my teeth were like half black, like they were gray. And I was like, I need to go brush my teeth.
It's like
Fair.
you drink a bottle of wine and then you end up having like weird, you don't know this because you're so young, but you end up having like, crazy colored teeth if you drink too much wine. So it's kind of the same thing. So wine and Black Mist both have the ability to affect the color of your teeth, apparently. You heard it here first. Scoops, AEW Unrestricted. Mr. Fix asks, if Julia could pick one other woman in AEW to be in the House of Black as her tag team partner, who would she choose?
Ooh, I always think about this question, actually. I would probably either say Abaddon or Penelope.
Ooh,
good choices.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Those definitely would be the two. Because Penelope and I, like from the back sometimes, like we look like we could be.
Yeah, good
It looked like we could be sisters, and I think we could be like the weird sisters or something like cool and creepy like that, or me and Abaddon, like she could be like my little zombie pet, and I have her on a leash, and I just tell her to go, and then she does her thing and crawls and creepy, spooky. Yeah, definitely those two.
Just maybe you control her with your ukulele, huh?
Right.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I summon her with my.
Yeah, that's right. You summon Abaddon with your ukulele. That's great. So we got a question here.
Around her.
Yeah, I like it. See, we're discovering all these wonderful possibilities here on Unrestricted. So Thomas Barnes Jackson wants to know, do you regret leaving the Varsity Blonds, and are you still friends with them? Deep question here.
I don't regret it at all. There's not one part of me that regrets it at all. Yeah, no, and still friends with them. I don't know. I don't really talk to them much, so, but maybe I don't know. I also haven't seen them in a long time. They haven't been at TV in a while, so I don't know. But yeah, not a part of me regrets it. Like, I can't say that.
I think it's one of those, like, everyone, even outside of like your former tag team partners, I think everyone's just really excited to see your growth as a wrestler, your growth as a character, and kind of all these things. So even when like there is that split, it's kind of one of those bittersweet moments of like, oh, well, this is done, but also like I'm really happy for her. So and
yeah, I definitely.
Griff and Pillman are kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I definitely, when it happened, I was like, oh, like end of an era, like that's so weird. Like I'm never gonna wear my varsity jackets again. Or like I'm never going to be a cheerleader again. It was almost like I was closing a chapter of cheerleading as well, because I did the character because I was so comfortable with being a cheerleader, and it was just something easy. So, and I actually quit cheerleading for wrestling. So it was just, and I thought I wanted to like say thank you to cheer by doing a cheer gimmick because I've loved cheer was literally my life for so long. But it was just honestly, I was like, I need to close this chapter of my life and close the yearbook and go to college at the House of Black. Not
there you go. You graduated.
Yeah, I
People go to
graduated.
college, they start experimenting with stuff, the personalities change. It's one of those like, yeah. So funny. So funny. Well, thank you, Julia. Wanted to thank you for being here today. This is awesome. You're such a wonderful, warm, bubbly person, but also so chill and just laid back and such a great, great part of the locker room. Yeah. So I'm so happy you were able to do this today.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
So you can follow Julia on Instagram and Twitter at @thejuliahart. You can listen and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, for free, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast app is. We're probably there. And you can check out the video versions where you can see Snacks and Jude and Crazy Dog Toys. We have new episodes every Monday. Oh, yeah. More dog toys.
Yeah, just Snacks, bringing them all
show
over.
them this one. Show them this one. Show them this one. Oh my God. You can see Julia on Elevation Mondays, Dark Tuesdays, Dynamite, no longer sitting on stairs, Wednesdays, and Rampage on Fridays. We're all over the place. You can watch us. And yes, here with my special co-host, Alex Abrahentes, I'm Aubrey Edwards. Thank you for listening to AEW Unrestricted.